This is episode number 42. Get what you want, find your happiness. Welcome everybody to another episode here in Body and Mind Transformation by Custom Body Fitness. This is your health coach, Sandro Torres, and today we're gonna be talking about how you can achieve many things that you want and find your happiness. I achieved many things in my life already and I'm super happy, not because of the achievements, it's because happiness is a state of mind, and also you have to understand life for you to be happy. Once you do that, you simply have a genuine happiness. This talk that I'm gonna share with you is it's a talk from last year, but I really want to share it with you. I wanna say sorry because I'm sniffing a little bit. I had a nose problem back then, which right now I don't have it anymore. I'm very happy with the results that actually celery and ginger. I drink a juice every morning, and that cleans up my intestines, and it helps me with my sinuses. Anyway, let's go straight to the talk and find out how I achieved many things in my business, in my relationship, my connection with God, with money, with my fitness levels, with my health, and everything that it's around my life. So without further introductions, let's go listen to the talk. At CBF, we know that for you to change your body, you need to change your mind. Exercise and eating healthy is only part of the plan. We care about our members as we care about our family, because our members become our family. It is not about competition, but support. It is not about being the strongest or the fastest, but about you defeating your negative self. It is about working together and making the task challenging and have fun. By the end, what matters is not how hard the session was, but that you take control of your mind so you can take control of your body. My name is Sandro Torres, and I'm happy you are part of our family. Welcome to Custom Body Fitness. Today, I'm gonna share information that is gonna help you in your life. If you are looking to be in peace, if you are looking to be financially free, if you are looking to be fit, if you're looking to be healthy, not getting sick, if you're looking to have a happy, functional family, if you are looking to have a successful business, and if you are looking to have a successful social life, this video is for you. If you have already everything figured out and you already found your happiness, I don't think this video is gonna help you. And if you're not looking for any of the things I mentioned, this video is not for you. But if you want to learn a couple things, this video is completely for you. I'm not selling you anything. If you know me, if you follow me, I don't make videos to sell. I make videos to persuade you to have a better life. Since I enjoy the fruits of the good habits, I want to teach you a couple things that you can do to improve your life, that improve my life, and it really changed my life and found my happiness. I have achieved many of the things that I just mentioned, but what really matters is that you find your happiness. If you're not happy, doesn't matter how much money you make, doesn't matter how fit you are, doesn't matter how big your family is, doesn't matter how successful your business is, and how many people around you have around. If you're not happy, that doesn't matter. But if you can find your happiness between everything, among everything, that means that you're already very successful. So many of you know a little bit about my story. I'm gonna summarize a little bit so I don't make this video too long, so you know where I'm coming from and have an idea what I'm gonna teach you. It's gonna help you. I'm coming from a very dysfunctional, poor family. My mom was a heavy alcoholic. She got lost when I was 12 years of age. She's been lost since then. We don't know where she is. My dad, he wasn't part of my life since my mom was pregnant all the way to 3 years ago, that I decided to help him and bring him to the US and join some of the good things. So USA, a free country. But I live in a very poor family where to buy a taco, it was very difficult for me. I became independent at 14 years of age. I started working at that time. I got into drugs. I wasn't heavy into drugs, but I did get into drugs. I got into alcohol. I wasn't heavy into alcohol, but I did get into alcohol, into smoking. I was in the wrong path for a long period of time until I turned 20 years of age. I didn't know how to manage my money. I wasn't very healthy. I was very unsuccessful in my social life. I had many relationships that didn't work, and I owe people money. I didn't know how to save money. I didn't have any resources for me to make money. The only way I could make money was by me working, and as soon as I made the money, I spend it, and then I'll ask for money. I borrow money from other people. Another thing is that I wasn't happy. I wasn't fulfilled. I had a very big hole in my heart. I was very empty. And I don't know how to explain that, but if you know what I'm talking about, you probably have an idea how that feels. Doesn't matter what you do, if you party, if you do anything, you still feel empty inside. It wasn't until I turned 28 years of age that I started changing my life. And I turned my life around. I'm 39 years of age right now, and I feel like I'm 20. And the reason why I feel that way, because I've been in shape since I turned 19 years of age, and it's difficult for me to say that never been out of shape, because I actually never been out of shape since I started exercising. And one of the things that I enjoy right now is being in shape, being strong, being healthy, not suffer of any illnesses. Also, another thing that I have achieved right now, it's my financial freedom. I make some money without working, so that's why I'm not so stressed. I do have a business and I do work, so don't get me wrong, I do work. But I work because I love what I do. I saw a friend a couple hours ago in a Starbucks. I was working there in the computer, and she said that if I was working, and I say yes. Said, do you ever have fun? And I say yes, I have fun all the time. I'm come to the studio, train our members, improve their life. I write articles, I read, I take my dogs for a walk, I hike, I do my exercise, I create videos, I create programs, I do a lot of things, but everything that I do is fun. It's not that I'm actually working, but I love what I do. And I have some investments that is giving me money for me. If something happens, I still get that money without working, which is not my goal. My goal is not to retire. My goal is not to stop working. My goal is to continue bringing value to people and change people's life. So I have achieved that. Another thing that I have achieved is that emptiness that I felt in my heart is not there anymore. I learned how to control my thoughts. I have a connection with a superior power, with God. Also, I'm very successful with my social life, and right now I have a relationship. Actually, I'm married. I've been married for around 8 months, and people said that is my marriage is new, and therefore that's why I'm so successful in my marriage. And believe me, I had other relationships, and I can feel the difference when you choose the right partner. And not only choosing the right partner, you know how to play your role in that relationship. So knowing how to play that role in that relationship and choosing the right partner has shown me that having a successful marriage is actually not difficult. It's like anything else. It's like having a business. It's like being in shape. On anything else, it has some ups and it has some downs. But if you know how to deal with it, and you know how, if you listen to your partner, it does pay off. So that's another thing that I have achieved lately. Another thing, but business is very successful. Can't complain. Even with the pandemic, we're still busy. In the pandemic, we stay open, and people support us, and we didn't suffer economically in the way. I mean, every single business, not every single business, but a lot of businesses suffer in the pandemic, and they went back bankruptcy. We didn't, and our income did decrease, but we never had any fear or thought. So if we're gonna if we're gonna not make it 1 month, and we're not gonna have enough money to pay everything or to make money for us, we never had those thoughts. Thank God we were very successful. So the reason why I'm telling you that is that if you want to, like I mentioned in the beginning, be in peace, make sure your heart is very full and you're happy, which is why you actually living in this life. I'm gonna teach you what I did to do that. The other thing is to have a successful functional family. I'm also gonna teach you right now in a minute what I did to learn how to do that, because I also have a brother that I love, and thank God he's doing the right thing. He's healthy. He's also married. He runs one of our custom body fitness location. He makes good money. He's very stable, and he's growing. He's learning, and I think the reason also why he's so good is because I learned how to treat my brother and how to help him take the right path. Another thing that I learned, it's the business, make the successful business. I'm gonna teach you how I did that as well, how to make money, and how that money is you don't have to work to get that money. Do investment. I'm gonna teach you how to do that as well, and how to successfully have a social life, and trust the people around you and have the right people around you, because that's very important. So you're ready for the secret? Reading. You want to read. Those are all the books that I have read and that I'm still reading, and I order more books. All this book taught me how to achieve what I already achieved. I read at least half an hour every day. At least. I learned how to achieve everything I already told you by reading books. So I really recommend that you start reading books, that you start doing what I do for you to achieve everything. So right now what I'm gonna do is give you my 10 top books that I read, and then I'm gonna start making videos summarizing the books and what I learned from the books. But I do recommend that you read the books yourself, because every single person makes their own conclusions according to how they read, what they learn, and the notes they take. So my conclusions that I make from that book might be not your conclusions, but it will add to your knowledge. So I recommend you buy this book. So let's begin with the first one. The first book that I read, and by the way, this one is in Spanish. I don't know if you can find it in English, but I believe you do. It's Flying Over the Swamp, Volar sobre el Pantano. This book talks about how to become adversity. It's a couple. You need to read the book, but the guy, he was in gangs and he was in the wrong path, doing drugs and so on, until he almost lost his family, especially his sister. And he talks about, he started telling the story here how he becomes a leader after that. The wife of this guy, she was sexually abused by the ex-boyfriend, and the boyfriend's friend. And she talks about how she overcomes that, and how she also becomes a leader, and how he met this guy, which is the other guy that talks about the story, and how the both of them overcome their adversity. It's a very good book. The other book that I really recommend, and I think is one of the best ones, is an eye-opening book, is The Shack. This is an amazing book. This guy, he's full of hate. He doesn't love God. And the reason is because he lost his daughter, and his dad abused him. And I believe you have to read the book. I'm not going to tell you more details about that. But he meets actually God. Read the book and you make your conclusions out of that book. And God teaching how to live life, how to be forgiveful, how to understand people, how to live between people, and how not to judge others. It's an amazing book. I really recommend that book, that you read that one. Next, the other one that I recommend is called Why Your Clients Love. I have a business, and I think this is an amazing book. It teaches you how to treat people, because we all are people and we have our moments. And it teaches you what you can do so they feel love, so they feel that you care about them. Because there is a lot of things that we know that we should do, but we don't know how to do it. So that's a good book about how to treat clients. Another book I like is The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. This is a good book as well. This talks a very successful person. He was rich, but he wasn't happy. And he didn't know what he was missing. Then he got a heart attack. And finally he decides to get rid of everything, all the money, everything. And he flies to Asia. He meets the monk, and they taught him how to live and what he was missing. Then he comes back and starts teaching the lessons that he learned from the monks. It's a great book. The next book is Pathway to Success. That's a great book. It teaches you how to treat people, how to make a business, and how you exchange your services for money. But it's not a superficial teaching. It teaches you how people behave. It teaches you the psychology of people and your psychology. Do you have to do the right thing to help people, so people exchange the money for your services? The next book, it's gonna be Trust Me, I'm Lying. This book, it tells you about how the media, how the articles, and how television, and how the news, everything, they're actually lying. Because one person comes with a lie, they publish an article, the other person copies that article. It teaches you everything. If you read the book, you can see through the lies, and you can see through the agenda and the propaganda that the government has. and start telling, and you can start seeing what's the right thing to do. That's an amazing book. I really recommend that one. Talking about that, there is another book, The Psychology of Persuasion, Influence. This book teaches you how people who try to sell us things, they study human behavior. Think about that. They study human behavior. They know how we're going to react. They see our animal side. And they're trying to persuade us to buy things, to vote, to do things that we don't supposed to be doing, because they know how we work. They know our negative side. If we learn how to defeat our negative side, then we become better persons, and we can see again through the propaganda. So that book teaches you a lot of scientific studies and researches that have been done, and how manipulative we are, and how can we be manipulative. So it's a good book if you don't want to be manipulated by other people, if you don't want to be manipulated by the government or anything else. That's a very good book. Next book, it's going to be Youth in Ecstasy. That's a very good book. It's in Spanish. I don't know if that one is in English as well. But that teaches you how we get lost in pleasure, and how we can start gaining control of that. And how many things that we think that are acceptable, they actually, we have a psychological problem unless we figure out what are those things we can control, or negative side for pleasures and so on. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm gonna show you another one that I'm reading right now. I read it once and I decided to read it again because I'm going over all the books again. That's the reason that why you see those books right here and they're not in the bookshelf, because I'm rereading all these books again. They're so good. It's called Killing Sacred Cows. So this book talks about financial freedom. It talks about all the myth that is going out there about investments, about how to generate money, about opening businesses, about insurance, about a lot of things. It told you all the myth, and it told you how to invest your money and how is the best way you can invest the money. It's an amazing book that opened my eyes to actually do the right thing with my money, to save it, invest it, and not just to save it, because saving money doesn't do anything unless you invest it. Unless you invest the money. And another thing is it teaches you about liabilities, the things that takes money away from you, and things that give you money without working. That's a very good book. And the last book that I'm gonna show you, it's The Business of the 21st Century, Robert Kiyosaki. That's a very good book. Also, it teaches you about a couple of myths about money. So the whole point of reading is for you to learn it. And once you get that information, you apply it in your life. We talk about a couple areas of your life that you need to improve to be happy. If you want to do that, you need to learn exactly the topic that we talk about. There is so many books out there. I just gave you 10 of them. But if you want to be financially free, read books about that. If you want to be happy, read books about that. If you want to be in shape, read books about that. If you want to have a connection with a superior power, read books about that. If you want to have a functional life, read books about that. If you want to control your thoughts, read books about that. That's going to give you the knowledge that you need to become successful and happy in this life. Okay, so let's make the conclusion here, a quick summary of the episode. So if you already found your happiness, you're already very successful. Doesn't matter how much money you make, it doesn't matter how fit you are. Doesn't matter how big your family it is. As you probably know, you can be alone and still be happy. So if you find your happiness already, you are very successful. Because many people are not happy even though they have a lot of money, they have a big family, they're in shape, they have achieved many things, they're not happy. So the only way you can succeed is by you being happy. The second point is, the things that you do every day, you should love them. So make sure your job is part of that thing. It's part of your happiness. When you work, make sure it's something that you love. Of course, you're going to have up and downs. It's going to be difficult sometimes. But if you love what you do, it's going to contribute to your happiness. So make sure your fun is every day by working in the things that you love to work on. The next one is, if you want to succeed in any area of your life, if you want to find out how life works, start reading books. That's the only way you're gonna do that. At the same time, you're gonna avoid many mistakes because other people already made those mistakes and they're gonna give you the knowledge so you don't make those mistakes. One of the books that I recommend is The Shack. I think it was very impactful in my life. And the reason why it was very impactful is because you find a guy that is very angry with life and God, but then he's very angry with God because he lost his daughter. Can you imagine you losing your daughter to a serial killer, actually rapist serial killer, and then just blame God because he couldn't intervene in that painful moment? That's the reason why he was mad. At the same time, he was mad because he was physically abused by his dad, this guy. So this book teaches the guy, and at the same time I learned how to forgive people, why people do what they do. That's the reason why I recommend that book, as I recommend the other 9 books. Okay, the next one is, if you want to be in shape, read about it. If you want to have a successful family, read about it. If you want to have a successful business, read about it. Whatever is it that you want to achieve, whatever you want to learn to play the piano, read about it. Of course, you want to put everything into practice because reading doesn't gonna do any good if you don't put it into practice. But if you read, you get the instructions for you to succeed in whatever thing you want to succeed. So that's the conclusion right there. I hope you like this episode. Please share it with your friends, share it with your family, share it with the people who need it the most, who needs this information to be happy and be successful. And as you already know, please stay mentally and physically healthy. And we'll be tuning in the next episode.